Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the third episode of the Librarian run for Cultist Simulator, playing as the detective. So, we were making some progress in terms of the investigations. I've got some ideas in terms of how I'm handling this library sort of restriction that I have for myself. What I'm going to do is a little bit like the sealed bureau file. I'm going to resist the urge to read a book, but that's not going to be it's not a binding restriction, let's say. So essentially what this means is if I think there's an opportunity to do something interesting, I'm going to take advantage of it. But if how do I put it? Like, if I'm not necessarily here's a great example here. I know that if I had some moth or some lantern, I should be able to make it to the woods. So I should be able to crack open Traveling at Night or The Humors of a Gentleman and try to read one of those. But that's a little too early for me to try that. I want to see if I can work around and maybe find something that will, see if I can find something that'll maybe be a little more elegant or a little more interesting to, to do instead. One of the other things that I think is neat about this is it creates a little bit of a ticking time bomb as far as the people I'm arresting, because I have a suspicion that the more I lock away these people, these are potential followers if I do ultimately open the file or if I do pursue something different. This may sort of hurt me in terms of what I have access to later as far as any kind of cult activities or recruits. So I think that'll make for an interesting, kind of an interesting contrast, let's say. But yeah, so essentially right now I'm going to focus on acquiring books, and I'm going to try and maximize my library potential before I start making sort of the harder choices in terms of, how I potentially read a book and maybe, see what how I go about replacing these sorts of things. Again, it's just a fun little experiment at this point. So, with that in mind, we're pursuing the investigation. We're going to have a little bit of difficulty in terms of the lesson learned. In fact, I think with 3.4 seconds left now, I probably am not going to be able to do what I wanted as far as leveling up my reason. So we're just going to keep building up the erudition for the next little while. I think I should probably double this one up, though. Yeah, we'll see where it all winds up. But let's go to Morelands. First thing we want to do is clear out Morelands for sure, and following that, we'll see where the rest of it goes. Light in the skull is very welcome. The words contain knowledge. Now I contain it. It's a little like theft, a little like feasting, and a little like the progress of an infectious disease. So we don't lose this erudition, we'll combine this into a lesson learned. And we'll see where we sit after. Alright, so I've got my affliction. This is a chance for us to use the vitality. And we've got another season of suspicion coming up. I'm not too worried about it because I don't have any mystique, and I definitely don't have any notoriety on the table. But as always, it's nice to be aware of what's coming up. Particularly with regards to reason. Obviously, that's something I want to keep a close eye on. The burning of the unburnt god. So this is maybe the point I should start properly cataloging everything, but I'll resist it for now. Dusty facts have come clear in my brain, for now at least. So our ideal is going to be 3 lessons learnt by the end. So we're earning 1 now. We've got a second on the board. We'll soon have a second on the board. My investigation has turned up no new leads. Alright. So, I have the damning evidence already, so in this case we should probably just be able to employ the reason. So it does... In this case I'll just keep going with the single reason. At this point, the vitality is basically vanishing, but that's fine. I don't need to push hard on that at the moment. We've got Kittling Ripe and Moldywarp's Grave and other stories. So I think in this case here, I'm going to really push out the length of the library. Again, I should probably come up with a better filing system, but for now, I'm just going to put them in the order in which I acquire them. I've already got something, like, these are all obviously the occult books. Maybe at some point I'll sort them based on the lore. But of course, if I do that, that means that things like Traveling at Night and the Locksmith's Stream wind up separate from each other. It's not quite lined up, but... Alright, there's a lesson learned. So we've got time left on these eruditions, so in this case we're just going to continue to read whatever's to hand. Again, we need a third one, so as long as I can get 2 more erudition before the time runs out, we're in good shape. The wrong kind of attention. The city is rife with journalists and detectives and other meddlers. How long will they leave me in peace? And the sick room grows close and stale. It's time to get up. And we've got a season of ambitions coming up, which means I want to make sure that I've got a reason standing by just in case something, our attention winds up moving towards the sorts of things it shouldn't. I found something noteworthy. So this is the Viennese Conundra. And with 3 funds, I think my limit's going to be 2. Once I get down to 2, I'm not going to buy books. But other than that, we'll, again, first of all, clear out Morelands, and then following Morelands, we would try to... You know what the really funny thing about this is? I believe I could have doubled this up, and we would have had the 3rd erudition that we needed. Maybe I'm thinking about that wrong, but... Okay, no new leads, which makes me... I'm a little salty about that, but... It's earning me money, which is good. Alright, so we got a few things I can do. First of all, we've got the Queens in the Rivers, so that gets added to the list. Buy that. Okay, so as far as erudition is concerned, if we take a look at the accounting... Try and organize this a little bit better. Okay, so for starters, we can combine these two. And it would seem to me I can combine these two, and that's our third... That's sort of our third combination. And turns out we didn't need that extra reason after all, so we'll probably employ that. Well, I don't know, it's a question... I suppose it's an interesting question as to whether or not I should just milk this for the value, or if we try to lock them up quickly. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. And I found something noteworthy. In this case, we've got the Orchid Transfigurations Volume 2. Do we have... That's the first of the Orchid Transfigurations we have. Okay, so we're at 2 in terms of funds. We can go walk around the city, see if we can get a Course of the Heart as the result. But the main focus, as always, is going to be on erudition. And I'll probably try and get some glimmerings. Solving the case, I've turned over my evidence to the Assistant Director General of the Suppression Bureau. Now this will be interesting. So we've got 52 seconds, but the rival's conducting an expedition. So I wonder if, in this case here, they're saying we can't find them. And I wonder if that causes the damning evidence to go away. Anyways, we'll find out in a minute, I suppose. My Mind the Library. Use this lesson learnt with your scholarship skills. So we'll do one last combination. That's for the erudition. And Season of Suspicion coming up. Again, we don't need to worry about that because we have we don't have any notoriety or mystique on the table. Should have read this. I have picked up odd facts here and there. If I spend time studying what I've learnt, I could increase my reason. Better not. I must be careful of the company I keep. So here we'll recover from fatigue, and I provided the Suppression Bureau with enough evidence to make an arrest, but there's no one to arrest. Oh, wow. So we just lost the evidence off of that. Okay, well, we'll still keep the reason just in case. My rival seeks the tools and lore up for their own ascension. So this is the funny thing, right? This is troublemakers behaving exactly the way that we've behaved on so many runs. I actually kind of like the fact that as a detective we wind up with the same problems that we employ against investigators. In any case, we now have the erudition we needed. This is going to be a big bonus for us in terms of being able to maximize our earnings while still you know, keeping our temptations at bay. I will grow wiser yet. And we have a season of visions coming up, so I'll be careful about that, but I don't see any problems on the horizon. I am refreshed. Okay, we will keep searching the city. Again, I'll focus on my passion for the next little while, but I think maybe we'll make a push for health before too long. Might have found somewhere unusual. Clearly, if we can access the woods, that would be a little bit better in terms of improving our physique. But I got to work with what I've been given. Progress. The constant clatter and closing of doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. So there's the damning evidence again. In this case here, I'll just apply the single reason for the same reason we have before. We want to make sure that we have something to hold off on a surprise season of ambitions. And of course, we'll plunder Morelands as much as we can. Alright, my mind is a paradise of mirrors in which all things are clear, even those things I might prefer not to see. So if we want to push this any further, we need something more, and in this case this is lore. Of course we don't have lore as we are the detective, but we'll be working on that. So study-wise, like I said, I'm going to focus on the glimmering first. We do have the vitality on the way, but like I said, I want to focus, if I can, I want to try and be a little more focused in my approach. Ooh, where did that thread come from? Should have paid closer attention. But we do have a contentment coming up. Alright, now, do we not already have Wrapped in the King? I could have sworn that we did, but apparently we don't. So there is one practical point here. So you'll notice that when it comes to these texts, you know, these are not unique. These, however, are. And so being able to line them up like this is one of the ways that I can keep track of whether or not I accidentally let a duplicate slide in and waste something. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. We do have some money to add to the library again. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. Right, my own heart pumps more strongly today. My investigation has turned up no new leads. Alright, so we're still pursuing the troublemaker. In this case here, I think we can afford the 3... I think we can afford the 3 reason in this case, so... Progress. Another copy of No, sorry, our first copy of Gildersleeve Latin Grammar. Okay, Season of Suspicion coming up, always something to keep an eye on. We can get rid of the dread with contentment. And I passed the time, I've been inclined to tears and afterwards inclined to laughter. Meanwhile, the world continues. So we'll carry on as such. I'm not clear in terms of what my threshold is for glimmering, because right now I'm not really doing any painting. But I can, I can see some situations in where maybe I would want to. Okay, we've got the Orchid Transfigurations Volume 1. Yeah, so we can move that down. Again, we're trying to make sure that we don't have duplicates, but we don't have the money for a new one quite yet, so we'll just move ahead. It's kind of neat to see that essentially by locking away suspects, we wind up with the money to be able to fill our library. I didn't quite intend it that way, but it's a neat little trade-off. Solving the case, I've turned over my evidence to the Assistant Director General of the Suppression Bureau. At this moment, I can assume hard-faced men in plain clothing are pounding on the door of my quarry. And we won't worry about the experienced swindler. Alright, the sun still moves, the wind still walks, my journals are the labyrinth clue. And here we've got the glimmering that we needed, so we will combine these two to feed my imagination. The tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could increase my passion and gain a skill. So this will help us out with painting if we choose to go down that path, but I don't really see a situation where I do actually do the painting. For now, at least. Again, there's always the option to change paths, but for now, clearly making money is our big goal, because that'll enable us to move from Morelands to Ouroflams, and essentially just see where we're at in terms of being able to pursue some of our other objectives. Alright, the Suppression Bureau holds their trials in closed court, and they are not merciful. My quarry disappears from the world. I have earned a promotion. So, that's a good day for books. Let's use my hardened physique to start pumping. Well, I guess pumping iron would be in the study verb, but I will work with speed and in silence. I don't fear injury. Better not, I must be careful of the company I keep, so we will rest up with the health. This is partly just to generate a course of the heart, but... Okay, so I need to take a second here. We've got 0.7 seconds. I think it's worth a shot. Feed my imagination. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. I've gained passion, but it will be more difficult to gain passion next time. So I'm not going to use the study verb with health. What I am going to do, though, is try and be quick on the spacebar so that I can turn that vitality into a lesson learned. So it takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. And I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. Refreshed. It feels weird to have the empty verbs like this. There we go. The others speak little to me, but now they nod when I pass. Here is my pay. So we've got a vitality now, which we can combine into study verb. We've got 39 seconds left on the inspector's position, so what we'll do here is we'll put one reason towards tentative evidence. Found something noteworthy on what is contained by silver. For some reason I keep thinking I've got these books. Alright, I'm gonna open a new line below. So there's 4 for the Gallagher work, so we should probably put it about here. Hope Clifton. There are reports, troubling reports of this one. This is probably going to wind up picking up the sealed bureau file anyway, but I am refreshed. Yep. Oh well. I found something noteworthy. Alright, a collection of poetry. I am curious what happens if you talk about the file with your quarry, though. I cannot forget what I saw in the file on Daniel December. I am disciplined. I am all discipline. I haven't lasted this long to give up so easily. Alright, I am ready to grow stronger. Use this lesson learnt with your strength skill. So progress, the constant clatter and closing of doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables, all of this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress, and I've earned myself some overtime pay. So always happy for the extra funds. We are going to go to the work site, though. And I should be studying with my health at this point. Another collection of poetry. Are we enemies? Perhaps we don't have to be. A guarded conversation in an early opening coffee shop in the rain-swept, wind-shivering after dawn. I've learned nothing. Fair enough. Obviously, that wasn't my kind of primary subject anyway. I think I'm going to wind up talking with Clifton again. And we've got a season of sickness, so we may have to wind up giving up some money or vitality. Alright, the locksmith's stream, a light through the keyhole. So this is the first one. This is volume 2. I'm kind of happy I got this just so that I can start working out the order. Again, priority is for the library first. Any improvement to our health, we'll deal with that in time. The temptation is past for now. So if I come with the sealed bureau, I'm curious. The others speak little to me, but now they nod when I pass. Here is my pay. So I've got 39 seconds left on the inspector's position again. We can arrest Clifton immediately following. I'm always happy to see a course of the heart. So I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. So we'll go straight into another study of the heart. We do have the season of sickness coming up, but it's just nice to have a lot of vitality hanging around. The War of the Roads, 1450 to 1580 censored edition. So again, we're starting a new line. And we have the money for it, so we'll pick up another copy, or pick up another book. I am refreshed. So I don't have any more vitality that's been used up. Perhaps eventually, prove yourself to me. Let's talk. If you have a cult, it is possible, though difficult, to win a troublemaker to your side. Interesting. So that was clearly a different outcome than before. I mean, I earned some dread out of that, which I need to be careful about, but. So we're almost on our way. Actually, I think with these... I believe I've got my third lesson learned. Moreland's is closing. I'm moving on, Miss Moreland informs you. My stock is largely exhausted and the Suppression Bureau are taking an interest. So it's goodbye. This last book is nonsense, but I've tucked some interesting papers into the back as a thanks for your custom. So this is a pretty big one for us, right? Now we're actually able to get some people, or like attract some interest through talking about occult matters. And again, it generates mystique, but I don't need to worry about mystique. What I need to worry about is notoriety. So, what else? Okay, so the first question I would have here is, what do I want to do with my first lore? In this case, it's the Megalesian incantation, the Great Mother Remembers. We're not necessarily able to, we're not able to do anything as far as the Mansus is concerned with it. But that doesn't mean that it isn't useful for us. I don't have enough money to go to Ouroflams. In fact, I should probably just try and sell something Dark Mysteries. Let's take a walk first. Alright, I'm gonna speak of esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. The investigation has turned up no new leads. So, I'm going to pick up heavy things and put them down again. I might have found some place unusual. Okay. Don't quite want to work Strange by Moonlight yet, and we got a Course of the Heart. So we've got more than enough vitality. So at this point, I want to start combining them. If hunters found notoriety, they will use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. Alright, so we want to cure an affliction, but let's figure out where we're at vitality-wise. So we're combining one... to... Alright, so I can take the oldest. All I need now is time. And I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. Alright, let's go sell... Well, no, hang on. Something Dark Mystery something still is a... still a book, so... we should still probably count that to the total. I'm a little reluctant to do this, but we will attend the auction at Ouroflams. We perch on alarming Rietveld chairs in a windowless auction room with vividly burnt orange walls, waiting for the auctioneer to announce what he's offering. The reek of new paint makes the head spin, so it makes the brain spin. Hit start to see what's on offer or add an item you'd like to sell. Don't have anything to sell yet, so we'll see where this goes. The others speak little to me, but now they nod when I pass. Here's my pay. Okay, so again, we've got more than enough as far as vitality is concerned. It's really more of a question of timing at this point. So we will go back to our inspector. Whoa! We'll go back to our inspector work with the damning evidence and hopefully put Pope Clifton away. And here we've got a true and complete accounting of the Asclepian mysteries of the roots of the house. So we will put in a bid. I've raised my hand. The auctioneer raps out an acknowledgement. Will anyone match me? And we have an acquaintance now. Come with me. Now again, we don't have a cult, so I'm not going to be able to recruit them, but I'm at least able to get some attention. We're working our connections. I'm ready to grow stronger. Alright, so that's the second. We need a third. And I think that's it for tonight. So, some nice progress as far as the overall goal. We've emptied out Morelands, which means we're going to start working on Ouroflams now. We've maxed out our reason until we get lore that we can apply towards our scholarship. Now, as far as health is concerned, we want to go at least one level up, and then that'll essentially free up passion to be worked as well. But again, I'm not in a rush to handle that. The biggest advantage is we did get the lore from Moreland, which now means that we can start getting some acquaintances. And again, without a cult, that's not really going to count for a whole lot, but we can still make a little bit of progress. And if I start, the biggest one for me right now is to try and find a way to double up any books that we may find. Any duplicates allow me to read the works. So, but all of that will be handled in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.